Hey, know that nigga Twister teaching like CCL class.
Yeah, gun camp. Yeah, gun camp.
No. I'm not.
Yeah,
that's not a
gun
joke. Like
camp,
he
yeah,
really teaches like CCL classes and shit now.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The gun camp. That's just it's called gun camp.
Gun camp? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it an O block or something? There he is, get shoot.
Nah, you know he's from K-Town.
Right, I'm about to say he from K-Town. He ain't gonna be over here.
Oh, damn. Pocket
man.
Town. Okay.
Man, shout out to Twister, man.
Yeah. Indeed.
Shout out to Twist to the West Side, man.
Chicago legend.
Icon.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Easily Offended podcast, man.
Boom, Chicago,
We definitely here 2023, motherfuckers.
Say what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Wow, what the
You have a
hell?
lot of energy. I had a Red Bull earlier today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So I'm still.
What time did you have it? It's 8 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
Man.
Ugh.
8:23 to be exact.
I had it like, I don't know, like around 4. It's probably
Okay.
we're off by now, right?
What was
4,
in
4
that
p.m.?
Red Bull?
Right. Shit was cocaine in that motherfucker.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
He sniffed it.
Right.
Right.
It was Red Bull, but it was in powder form.
Right.
Gave me wings,
New shit
goddammit.
just came on the market.
I got it from this
New
nigga on the
shit.
corner. He said, he said
Hey, man.
give you jerk wings, goddamn.
First pod of 2023, man. The Jordon Year is what people are calling it.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? So I can think it's a Chicago good year.
Indeed.
Maybe the Bulls will make the playoffs. Maybe
That's
hit
right.
semifinals.
23 everything.
You know?
Wait a minute now.
Maybe.
That shit already sailed, man.
Well, I wouldn't say it already sailed.
I
But it
think
ain't
so.
look. I
Lonzo
mean,
might come back.
if Zoe come back when we got a shot, it's still because we ain't even at the All-Star break yet. It's
Yeah.
still, and they not like super far out. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So,
Right.
because
I
right
think
now
they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, right now
I
they
hope
like
they do.
like 10 or 11. You know what to play in, so even like 10,
Yeah, they got the
you at
play-in,
least get a
yeah.
chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
You know, and the
Shout
Bulls
out
got
to Zoe.
first round draft picks, so that's good.
Indeed.
Bears.
Indeed.
The
the
Bears.
Bears.
The Bears.
After losing 14 straight games, they better have at least.
I
get
think
the
they
20 draft pick.
did that shit on purpose.
Hey,
No, they do this shit on
no.
purpose.
But hold on.
Probably did.
Shout out to motherfucking Lovie Smith.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's a
fired
solid.
him, man.
No. But you know why? Well, I think he was gonna get fired anyway. But
So
you
they
know,
come here?
No, hell no.
Oh.
No. What I'm saying is, they won. The Texans won the game at the end of the season
To give
the Bears the first round pick, and he went for 2 at the end of the game to go for the win. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like he went and took that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for Lovie Smith, the Bears would not have the number 1 pick.
we
Man,
fired
So
him.
shout out to Lovie, man. Lovie
Shout
still,
out to Lovie.
still holding it down
Smith.
for Chicago.
Right, man.
You don't call nigga lovey-dovey.
Yeah, man, damn, man.
He did look like a big black M&M on the
This
sideline.
nigga Rob used to always call him Milk Dud.
He look like a
This nigga like a Milk Dud. Nigga expression never changes. Nigga just sitting there, same motherfucking look.
Like a
Happy,
mean-ass
sad,
daddy and shit.
Right.
Excited.
Now he just got a beard.
Look like a black Santa Claus, doesn't he?
man.
Nah, he's just like a disappointed father.
Look like it's just you can never get his approval. Like
Never
nothing's ever
amounts
good
to
enough.
nothing.
He still ain't get over his daughter being pregnant at 16. That's exactly how his face look. He's still
Damn.
thinking about that shit.
By one of the Bears? No, I'm kidding.
Damn.
I'm kidding.
God damn.
God damn.
That's how we starting the year off.
Hey, I was just saying
Right.
it might be one of the Bears. Of all the shots you could have hit. No.
Nigga, that's the wrong sport.
Right, you just had it
I
like-
couldn't think of a football
Yeah,
one.
man.
All right, just went with the first sport you went.
I couldn't think of a touchdown. I don't know. I couldn't.
It's all right, man.
I couldn't
Oh
think
man.
It's all right, man.
I mean, I was glad to meet. What y'all guys been up to? Like, New Year's Eve, man. We haven't seen each other.
Eve, I just went to the Pence retirement home, better known as the Family Den, for New Year's.
Oh, you was right down the street.
You was out there having drinks with the lunch lady.
Pretty much.
I thought didn't the family then shut down for a
It's
second?
dating game shut down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The dating game shit.
Yeah, somebody
On
got shot
Stoney
at-
Island.
Yeah, somebody got-
they ain't
supposedly
open up.
somebody
They ain't been
got,
open in a minute.
Yeah,
About 2 or 3
Yeah.
Somebody got killed right outside of it, supposedly.
Nigga, how many times niggas done got killed over? Well, let me
Well,
stop.
damn.
Oh,
But,
the chicken wing. That's my chicken wing. That was my 6-piece.
All right, nigga,
nigga.
it's Stoney Island.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
No,
Before
but, but the family then was and goddamn, what was the name of the spot?
Dating game?
Dating game. I'm joking though. I used to go there all the time. I had a great time every fucking time I went. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't never too much static.
Yeah.
over there.
The
Niggas-
Family Den is like the last club you go to in your club life. You,
I refuse to go there.
You went from Secrets to Mr. Ricky's. You end up at the
Bro,
Den.
I only go there, like, if it's somebody's birthday party, you got to be really effing close to me. Like,
Wow,
you got to
really?
be really close to me before I go to the family
What's wrong
den.
with the Den?
I just, the times I went, it's just always that dude in the red checkered.
That cat on some bullshit.
talent, red checkered suit.
Stacey Adams
You know what I'm
special.
saying, with the red Stacey Adams shit.
The Gators.
Nah, she ain't on the shit. She ain't on shit. But
I
yeah.
know, I'm sorry. I know for those who wonder what the fuck I'm talking about. Lornell got this cat and this motherfucker's eyeballing this fucking what is that thing called?
This light.
That flash.
That flash. Oh
Why
yeah.
is she doing that?
I don't know.
It's
but
probably
She look like
flash.
she want to jump on that motherfucker.
I
That's
swear.
She's scared of it. She finna move away. Yeah, but family den, bro, I can never go in there. Like, yeah, it's always the dude, you know what I mean? Somebody always selling roses, and every nigga in there got creased jeans.
That's
and
right. Heavy starch. Goddamn.
I was like, man, I walked in there a couple of times like, this ain't my crowd. Happy birthday.
I know why you don't go in there. You don't know how to step, nigga.
I don't. And I'm not at that age to step.
Why?
you mean you not at the
what,
age?
nigga?
Nah,
What
like,
you
over
talking
40?
about?
Like,
You over
dude,
40, right?
Like,
Yeah,
you over 40?
but
I'm over
you gotta be
40.
in
Alright,
your
yeah.
I've been stepping since I was in my 20s.
Hey,
But I'm
look.
just saying, but once you over 40, you have to there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have
Bro.
to step when you over 40.
What we do as stepping is not stepping. If we went to a stepper place and we started stepping, them old folks would kick us off the dance floor
Bullshit.
So you-
because they are
nigga.
serious.
No, so they-
Nah,
they-
because
they-
you ain't stepping how you supposed to step.
Right. You in there
I mean,
doing
I'm
a
not
mashed
finna
potato and
twirl.
whatnot.
I'm gonna hit you with the 1-2. You
No,
feel me?
govern yourself
gotta-
accordingly, goddamn it. When you hit that
Yeah.
stepper floor, you know what you're supposed to do, man.
Yeah.
Get your linen suit.
Yeah.
I know you got a linen suit.
Yes.
I do not have a linen
Take your
suit.
bullshit. You
Don't
might-
lie.
Get
I
your
don't.
linen suit. Get your keys
I got
with a
some
bunch
linen
of
shorts.
with them useless
Linen
keys on there.
shorts.
Yeah, that counts. All that counts.
What the hell? Okay.
Hey, you can step in some linen shorts.
What's wrong with linen
Shorts, right? That's what I'm saying.
You gonna put together an outfit from 2-3 Easters and make you a suit?
Hey, you know, I was fly as hell on the day of the wedding. I had a motherfucking yellow linen shirt with
some
these
shorts.
blue.
That's why I
blue
feel like
linen
that's like the
pants.
only time I can wear like linen.
You know
It's
what I'm
like
saying?
a summer
And I had
wedding or something.
I had these Adidas with the blue, pink, and red. You know, boy, I was fly.
Okay.
I was in Mexico flying. The wind was
You
flowing.
like you was going to a church on
I
Beach
had
Street.
the
I see.
Beyonce fan the whole time. I feel like I should be walking down the street to theme music.
Okay, all right. I don't know what they would be playing, but okay.
Right, I'm about to say. I know what
That
you're
3-6 Mafia, so fly. That's what-
Oh, not with no linen suit on.
Right,
You
the
got some
linen
Isley
suit.
buds.
Oh no, I'll be hype on that shit.
These are Isley brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Drifting on the memory, nigga. That's exactly what we playing in the background.
Hey man, so you know,
Okay.
anybody else New Year's Eve? Anybody was in the crib?
I was,
I was in the crib. I ain't do
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I ain't do shit on New Year's
I had to
Eve, bro.
fucking work and kick out these little shorties at the gig.
Okay.
You know
At
what I'm
the
saying?
where?
At the Hyatt. You know what I mean?
What they was doing?
So we had a dude come in. His mom had got the room for him. She works for the Hyatt. He comes in
All right.
and he has 4 dudes, 4 girls, and it's him. Well, he's one of the 4.
Well,
right?
these
so
are
it's-
kids, though.
It's
Okay.
even. No, yeah, about over 18.
Okay.
Around 18, 19, you know what I mean?
Well, preach on.
His homeboy tried to sneak some other girls in.
Mm.
His homeboy is drunk. He clearly goes through the rotating door that's supposed to, it's locked. He's trying to push it. I'm telling him to go around. He goes around, let the girls in. I'm like, what room you going to? He tells me, I'm like, you can't go there. You could go, but they can't. Man, what you talking about? I'm like, man, call your man. Tell him to come downstairs. So he comes downstairs. The girls sneak back and they walk upstairs. Grab the security guard. Hey, man, got a situation. We got to kick him out. So we get up there, and I was like, man, let me go in the room. Let me count the head count. Now, he's supposed to have 6 people in the room.
Damn it, Larnell. You a snitch,
You
brother.
cock blocking
Man.
motherfucker.
New Year's.
God damn
I
it,
mean,
man.
this is. I am disgusted.
Did you? No, let me finish this.
Yeah. Finish the story.
Damn it,
So,
man, I'm disappointed.
It's 4 guys, 4 girls.
This nigga
Hey, man.
ruined, this nigga ruined the good night.
Y'all have a good time tonight. I come in the hallway. You ladies, sorry, you got to leave. There's no room in the room because there's only 6 people to a room, and it's 8 in there.
Okay.
So, and it's like five of them.
How many beds was in there?
It's only 2 beds
Nigga,
and a pull-out
How
couch,
many beds?
right?
I'm just saying.
So I tell them, like, you know, Shorty gets brolic.
Uh-oh.
I don't understand what the problem is. I'm like, first off, this is a hotel. This is not a party room.
Right,
you feel what I'm
right.
saying?
This ain't the
So
Zanzibar.
you can't come in. So the security guy was
Nigga
like,
said
yo.
Zanzibar.
The security guy was like, yo. He said what he said. Move around. Let's go. We get in the elevator. She talking hella shit.
The girl? Wow.
She talking hella shit to the security guard. So the security guard like, man, I'm doing you a favor.
Uh-oh.
He like, because the 4 girls in there, they got eyelashes, long hair, nice, cute little outfits. All of y'all got bubble coats and ponytails. Y'all smell like outside. You ain't finna get no play tonight. Them dudes got that girl. Take y'all bum asses home.
They might have been pinch hitters. You know what I'm saying?
We had to kick him out.
God damn it.
Had to kick him out.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, dude won. He had like 4 of them in there.
it was 4 guys, 4 girls, right?
4 guys, 4 girls.
So-
and these other 5 was trying to come in.
So they had an opportunity to be outnumbered by women, and you stopped them.
I'm
Yes.
saying, bro.
Had to do my job.
Hey,
Wow.
actually, I feel like we should edit this shit out.
Right.
We shouldn't even let this grind. Like, I
It
can't fucking believe you.
He did.
sorry.
I liked how he told the story like we was gonna be like hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, are these children?
And it was
It
was New Year's Eve.
Hey, man.
New Year's Eve.
They
Let
was
them
young.
niggas live.
And some of
Look
the
at
wait,
you like defending company policy and shit.
some of the girls was go to Kenwood because the security guy he works at Kenwood, so he's like, y'all 3, y'all go to Kenwood. It's past curfew.
Oh, so they underage
Okay.
and that. Are they underage?
Yeah, it was 3 of them underage.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Now,
different.
I'll let that slide
That's
since you know
different.
since they're underage.
Yeah,
Now if
I
they
mean,
want now, but at the same, but if they on that teeter line, like if they,
I'm walking away from that.
I'm
one.
I mean,
Like,
okay,
let 'em ride, bro.
okay. You slide if it's underage if they dealing with grown people, but nigga,
Right,
you
yeah.
know what we was doing.
a few years. They was only a few years
we was
apart.
16,
Oh,
17.
damn.
what's
Yeah.
only a
Have
few
you
years, though?
forgotten what we used to be on?
What kind
bro?
of women we
Right,
talking?
No, I remember.
Have you forgotten where you came from?
No, I have not.
Obviously you have.
I do not.
Obviously you have
You are
forgotten.
banished.
Right.
I do not want these young ladies.
Hey, you need to find that young man and give him
Right. And
a fucking apology.
apologize. Yes.
What the fuck is
Young
wrong
man
with you?
Hey, man.
I can't believe this.
Hey, man.
I'm
I
so
had to do
I'm
the
so
job.
I'm so
The
ignorant.
bras with the bubble, them bras that you kicked out was the ones.
Right,
that
they was the ones that was gonna go.
That was the for sure ones.
They
For
came
real.
prepared.
That
They
was
was
the
For
ready.
real.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They probably
you
had
like
no
that
drawers
was
on.
saying,
nothing.
yeah,
You
exactly.
kicked out the for sure pussy for them, bro.
They just came. They came right from work from Popeye. That's why they smell like that.
Because they did. They smell like outside. Hey, look, wait a minute. They waited in my lobby till like 1:30, 2
They
o'clock.
was dedicated.
And
They was so
Bruh.
prepared.
Yo, see, all right, Lord, stop.
They had no other place to
Let's
go.
let's move on.
They went
What's
to the
the
fucking
first- nah.
63rd Red Line.
What's the first?
All
What's
night
the
like-
first topic, man? This nigga,
Hey.
this nigga started off the new year making sure niggas don't fuck. Ain't that
Damn.
Ain't no orgies going down on my watch.
If I
was like
can't have
Otis.
none, you can't have none.
Like Otis from Martin
Yeah.
and shit.
That is despicable.
What you doing there, boy?
This nigga was at work. He was pissed.
Yeah, he couldn't.
I
Yeah.
can't. Fuck that.
that.
Everybody, you like? Nah, I don't. Who in there?
Should those be on?
Open the door.
Hello. Hello. God damn it! Answer though. You answer though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
in
but,
there. Hey, go to the door.
I had to do my job, man.
Well, you're dedicated.
No
worker.
getting pussy on my watch.
Goddamn. Fuck that.
At all.
Even on New Year's.
This man said.
I ain't gonna
fuck
lie,
that.
G. I ain't gonna lie. I've been a hater because I've kicked a couple of girls out that was working OnlyFans and like running little whole strips.
All right, no, bro. You,
I'm gonna need to come to that lobby. You understand?
Man, I'm gonna report you to your
I
manager.
need a
You
park.
You need to be fired.
I'm gonna need
Hey,
a.
remember? Did anybody see? Did anybody see? Y'all know who Drewski is, right?
Yeah, the fat.
Did y'all see the? Did y'all see the skit when it's like the nigga that take his job too seriously? I'm gonna send y'all the people that's probably listening know exactly the fuck I'm talking about. That's what you just reminded me of. Right there. How dare you sit there and cock? Not only did you cock block, you block some bitch from getting money.
Man.
Come on, man.
You like
what we
you
on?
Randy Moss interception.
In this economy, you know how much eggs cost?
Right.
Right.
Eggs are
Hey, man.
$5.
Do you know
a
the
dozen.
price of gas
No,
right now?
Hey man,
Eggs are $5 a dozen, nigga.
He fought a good fight.
Just a hating ass nigga, man.
I had to do my job, man.
No,
Hey,
you didn't.
man.
Yeah, I like
you
that.
didn't.
I like
But
But
hey,
you know, this is
man.
kind of a transition because speaking
Yeah.
of fucking,
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, what's the fuck?
they was fucking in Tennessee
Oh shit.
and the police was fucking.
Oh,
And not
damn.
the regular, like, you know, they just fuck over regular citizens. No,
like fuck the police.
they was fucking each other.
Yeah,
Hey,
Fuck the police, literally.
multiple times.
Right.
Well, goddamn.
Fuck the police all the time in the police station. Yeah, they was
Well,
fucking in the
damn.
police. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. Meghan Hall is the female police
Sound like
officer
a
in the
freak
center of
ass
the
name,
scandal.
bro.
Megan Hall sound like a porn
It's a
name.
freak ass name, bro.
her pussy probably wide as a hole now too.
You know her husband stayed with her, right?
Oh yeah, he said I'm gonna stick.
saw
I'm
the
stick.
way, dude.
He said I'm gonna stick beside her.
I
sure
love
did.
this
An
woman.
insider.
I love this one.
Right.
You know he probably was cucking out, bro. I bet you.
Okay,
That's a good
don't
one.
judge me, but what the fuck does that word mean?
Basically it means watching somebody fuck your wife.
That's weird as fuck.
He might have been
very
a swinger. They might have an open relationship.
That's a little.
Oh, nigga, they ain't no swinging.
What else?
Either way, let me get the facts out.
Do your thing, bro.
So Meghan Hall is at the center of this. So she's been fired.
Yeah, she's been the center.
Along with Sergeant Lewis Powell, Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan. Pow pow.
Sergeant Henry Powell.
Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan, Detective Seneca Shields, and Officer Juan Lugo Perez.
What the fuck?
Juan.
Wow.
And there were 3 other officers that were just suspended. They weren't fired. So she fucked 5 of her coworkers.
Same night?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same night, but they used to do they said they was having wild, girls gone wild parties. They was filming it, sending each other videos and shit. It was crazy.
One of the memes said she had a speeding train ran on her.
What? A speeding
train? I saw when it said thank you for your cervix.
Yeah.
Now that's a good one.
It was a lot of memes.
Like
so basically, her and 4 or 5 other officers got down. 5 of them.
And it was on a regular basis. It wasn't just some one night shit. They was doing this.
And they was doing it on the job.
Yeah.
Like in the car or something?
In the car, in the police station, the motherfuckers' houses, they was all over the place.
Place.
Let me ask you, does it say how they get caught? Like, how did this shit?
You know what?
Who fired them?
A person like me, I was the one.
But it was Larnell's.
Larnell was other officers like, hey.
Open that door.
Y'all getting pussy in there?
Excuse me, officer.
Why y'all always leave me out?
Hey.
You know what? I got you.
There's a dog peeing on my lawn. What are you guys doing?
But yeah, man. So they all got fired. Well, 6 of them.
Wait a minute.
got
On
fired.
what grounds?
That's
personal misconduct. That's
they
they was fucking on duty.
So booty on duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't do that, man. Well,
Bro, you can't fuck your coworkers.
I thought that was just frowned. I thought that was just frowned upon.
Okay, wait a minute.
You're not supposed to, but everybody's fucking.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't. At this point, I don't know what
from you. Everything you say is questionable.
Yes.
This nigga, you sound like an employee handbook right now, man.
Yeah, HR video and shit. What not to do.
I'm filming you. I'm filming you.
He's like, stop. What is he doing wrong?
Yeah, man.
But like I said, her husband has said he gonna stick beside her, man. So I don't know what job. She probably gonna be working mall security somewhere.
Mall security. She a porn man. She a porn star now.
Only fans.
Now I was gonna say if she's smart. Because that's pretty much. The options are kind of limited right now because this is very high profile. Like everybody knows you, and that's the thing. They put all their pictures out there. Everybody knows her name.
I've seen.
You know what I'm saying? So your options are kind of limited right now. It might die down in a minute, and I imagine it's probably a little fucking embarrassing.
A little bit.
Yeah, I can't bro. There's no way.
Can you imagine her at the grocery store? You with your wife at the grocery store? You buy the melons. You picking out mangoes. You squeezing and shit.
What the
That's
hell?
a very specific fantasy that you're.
And people be like, "Hey, that's shorty." hey,
officer, I'm ready to be accosted.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the cop that she told no? You know what I mean? Like
it's always one to be just like, nah.
You're a rookie.
That's the nigga that told.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Indeed.
Oh, you ain't gonna give me no pussy.
You ain't gonna give me no.
All this shit, ain't nobody getting no pussy in.
Pal. You fuck Juan,
right?
Juan.
But you won't fuck me.
You fuck Juan, he don't fuck me.
It's because he didn't have a cool name.
Right.
Nigga named Powell.
Oh, that is wild.
Yeah, man.
I bet you did her hand smell funny when she handed out tickets. Officer, what's that smell?
I can't imagine what her breath smell like.
Oh. The bitch just take me to jail.
Right.
Smells like balls, donuts, and coffee.
Probably.
That's like potpourri.
Smells like abortions. That's what it smells.
Oh, whoa.
That was far. That was far. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
It smells like abortion. It sounds like a cologne commercial.
Well, on that note.
Yeah, that was kind of dark. I'm sorry.
It smells like abortion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but and speaking of sex scandals, I don't know if you can really consider this a scandal, but your man Keith Murray been on the internet wilding the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like
that is.
He's like if Charleston White and Orlando Brown had a baby, they'd be him.
That's the Orlando Brown right now. That's what I consider Keith Murray right now.
Yeah, and he looks bad. He looks all drugged out. But you know, he told stories about the first one that they made the rounds was him talking about having a sexual relationship with Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
She was giving him top.
Yeah,
and they saw in the lobby when they saw Corrupt like right after some, it was just some wild shit.
It's like he sound like
and that's the thing. It's just kind of like because I feel like
really happened.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of foul. You know what I'm saying? Because like I mean, the nigga Corrupt is still out here,
right?
And like you telling shit, trying to embarrass motherfuckers,
right?
You know what I mean? You talking about people personal business. I mean, they was married at the time.
Damn, right?
You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, and if that shit is true, it is definitely foul. And you never know because people do wild shit like that.
I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, oh man,
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, like the only reason why I say I would is just because it's fucking Keith Murray and how like
Keith Murray was that nigga for a minute though.
I'm not saying that he wasn't. No, that's the thing. At once upon a time he was.
Dude.
But it got to I remember I knew something was off with him. Remember when he had that rap battle against I think it was I forgot who it was against. Anyway, this was like damn near 8 years ago. It was I can't think who the other star was. Long story short, during the battle, this man started to bug out. He started jumping up and down. Started to act like he was seizing. No, it was just like the battle. Damn, they had to stop because he was just
tripping.
He was just tripping. Like it was really fucking weird.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember who it was.
You're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it's like ever since then it's like this nigga's lost his fucking mind. So then it's like when I hear this story now, I'm like,
He do give crackhead.
Bro, listen to this man.
Eating the boom, boom, boom. I don't know if she climaxed or not, but you know, I eat.
Oh, that's the
better
Shauna.
than
That's what you're talking about.
Butch.
No. Or is that
Shauna was there. I connected with her. She said,
Shauna.
"Yo, man,
Yeah,
Miami.
Shauna, yeah,
I'm over here." I said,
Shauna's
"I'm gonna come see you."
This is what
Shauna
he-
was in
this
the
is what
bed
he
like
prevented
this,
on New
fucked
Year's.
up on the bed. And I was touching her feet, massaging her. You know, she all voluptuous. And her father is a musician, right? From a group.
Yeah,
But he got
right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
If you look
listen
it up,
to
yeah,
how
she's
his
from a
shit
musical
jumping around.
family.
What
The
fuck
man was wilding out,
Why
bro.
is he dressed like that?
I don't know, man. The man was wilding out.
massaging it.
Massaging her. And I was
like
the one with him, he was talking about Foxy Brown. He was like, yo, so I laid on the bed. I spread my legs, and she started giving me crazy dome. And
One of them old detective movies.
I was like, bro, what is wrong? I saw a video recently that he performed, and he was
On
performing
Foxy?
the most, and he tried to stage dive.
That was
It looked like
I saw that.
it looked like they was in somebody's basement. Like, fam, you can't even jump. Like,
He fell into the dryer and
the
shit.
The funny thing is, the nigga asked, "Can I stage dive? Can I stage dive?"
they was like, no,
And it was like, no.
no.
He did it anyway. And
It
that
did
nigga
to look
fell
like-
on the floor.
I'm going to
That
do
shit
it.
look like it hurts.
And he fell on the floor. That I cried laughing for
It's
at least
it's
3
kind
minutes.
of it's kind of sad to see.
It is sad,
because he
man.
was you
Yeah.
know
He was hot, bro.
yeah I mean he really only like
two singles?
so honestly I always thought he was decent. I thought he was kind of overrated. Niggas used to talk about Keith Murray like he was really dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had that most beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like on the using the big words and shit.
Yeah.
He was like the Stephen A. Smith of rap.
Wow.
He was kind of
Super farcical.
He used to remind me of remember that show in Living Color where he was
What the
talking
dude
about-
was in the
he was in
jail.
the jail using all the more big ass words that don't make
Yes.
sense.
Like T.I.
Yeah. Kind of
Damn.
like T.I. Kinda
Wow.
Like T.I. do be using big words for no reason.
Superfluous.
This is
Preponderous.
I get
But yeah, man. But
I'm
yeah,
flabbergasted.
and I think this trend of like old rappers and old gangsters or whatever, like getting on the internet, going on all these shows and just talking about old business, like old personal shit. Like it's cool if you want to hear stories like about how like shit was recorded, things of like stories of the industry and shit that was going on, like behind the scenes shit. That like we wasn't privy to back then, you know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to hear those stories because it was so much shit. But like when you get to talking about like personal stuff,
Indeed.
you know what I'm saying, shit that could be embarrassing for others, or even shit that like because sometimes a lot of these people, especially with these like gangster stories, man, you talking about shit that's just like niggas want to get indicted.
yeah.
Indeed.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
heard
like,
that
that
he
shit started with Vlad though. Vlad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. Vlad is actually a fucking agent, which I wouldn't, because he definitely
niggas
got so many
invested.
people on there snitching on themselves. You know what I'm saying?
But I heard Keith Murray sent the tweet to some dude named Saigon, said that he said these things on purpose to go viral.
I believe that. I believe
I
that.
don't know if true of that.
You said you remember Saigon?
I barely. I mean, I know he is, but barely, bro.
He did
Remember
that.
that?
Yeah, he did
Remember that time he got beat up on stage by Mobb Deep? You ever see that video?
Saigon.
Saigon.
Oh,
Saigon and Mobb Deep had a beef.
Yeah, they had a beef,
and Saigon was performing on stage, and Mobb Deep was there. And they hit him in the head and chased him through the crowd.
Yeah, what's
that's
that?
embarrassing.
Saigon talked about that shit not too long ago.
Yeah. But Saigon was also on Entourage, which was one of my favorite shows. Yeah. He was on Entourage. He played Turtle, was trying to manage artists at the time. Saigon played the character.
Okay. Shout out to Saigon.
Yeah, man. I really think, like, you know, like Rail touched on, like these older guys, like that's been around for a long time, that's close in their 50s or 60s, and they ain't got the funds, because I mean nobody's checking for Keith Murray. Like, you had a couple of joints, you know what I mean. You had a lot of great verses, you know what I'm saying.
But like, yeah, ain't nobody going. I'm not going back and listening to Keith Murray.
Ain't nobody going to go see a Keith Murray show. You feel me?
Not even for the stage dive.
No.
If he was like I would go see like a Def Squad show. Like if it was a Def Squad show.
Yeah,
Keith Murray
like with
there,
Eric Sermon, Redman.
But yeah, like Keith Murray gonna see niggas like Keith Murray gonna be in town. Like, oh, for real? Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It's gonna be at the rehab center.
What you about to do? At the rehab. Right.
He should have a show called Keith Murray Stories.
No, he should
not. Do
No.
not give Keith Murray.
He gonna get
He
sued.
don't need
For
no
real.
platform, man.
Yeah,
He don't
nah.
Like the thing that gets me about Keith Murray is the same thing that pissed me off about Irv Gotti. It's like, let's pretend all this shit that you're saying is true. Let's just pretend it is. Why are you saying this shit?
Why would you say?
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
you talking about, you know what I'm saying? You going about telling stories on, like, you know, it's just, bro, it ain't, like, keep that shit for yourself. That shit ain't play at all.
It's
man.
not.
You know
That shit like.
it's not play at all.
And then it's like, that's the thing. When I was younger, so you know, older cats was telling me, I was like, man, look, man, you know, don't, if you get someone, man, keep that to yourself, man. I'm sitting there going around telling the girl business, da. This nigga is old enough to know better.
But they want to go viral. It's like maybe they're trying to fit in and say, if I want to go viral, be popular, how can I do it? Nobody really looks at talent, so I just talk some shit.
People just want to go viral.
But that's the thing. But viral nowadays is like, bro, it's like, that's what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, because it was that same shit. Remember, you mentioned Charleston White earlier when he said all that shit. What was that? The DJ dude from Chicago when he went there while I was talking about Duck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it came out. He said that shit like he was just trying to get a reaction. He said the interview was going stale. Wow. So he just said that shit just so he knew, like, if he did this, it was gonna go viral. Like he didn't really mean that shit at all. But that's what people do. People be saying, just thinking of really outlandish, crazy shit to say.
Just so people.
Yeah, just so.
I mean, just think about what was the girl that was on the white girl that was on one of the talk shows that
Catch Me Outside, girl.
Catch Me Outside, girl.
Oh yeah, that's different, brother. Like, do you know how much what she doing now? That girl's in the league home.
And she on OnlyFans now, right?
Yeah, she made like $50 million last
Not
year.
even that. She brought it. Yeah, exactly. She brought a $6 million house cash. Literally, she made the interview I sent you a while ago. The dude was talking about. We was talking about social media, and he was talking about he was on Earn Your Leisure podcast, and he was talking about like how he like Shorty only got 20 pictures on her OnlyFans. And he like, I only subscribed to it because I'm like, I wanted to see what you're doing on here, and it wasn't nothing crazy. And she made a shit ton of money. She has a $6 million house in fucking Miami. But the thing about it is, even after that little segment on television, people was paying her. So a lot of times, these people that go viral, people will pay you to go out. Just like how we talked about earlier on our Facebook page when he touched Murder Moot, kind of got Amber Rose upset because he was like, a lot of times these girls go out here and they do whatever. And he like, I'm on a red carpet with a girl, like, what do you do? And she like, I just twerk and I got a lot of fans.
That's crazy.
He's like,
That's where we are now.
no talent is the new talent.
I would say, unfortunately, women got the advantage of that because if I could twerk for 2 hours, ain't nobody gonna come to my page.
Nigga, what?
Absolutely not. Why would you do that?
I'm gonna need you never to say that again.
For real.
Ever.
This
What
nigga
can-
said what?
No.
What can I do?
Image
No.
alone.
And you know what? I think that's a perfect time to stop this fucking.
Nobody's coming to my page.
That's when you know it's going too far.
They gonna be blocking my ass.
Right.
Oh, hell.
On to the next.
Since we started on music, let me give a big shout out to Chance the Rapper and Vic Mensa through their first annual Black Star Festival out there that grew over 50,000 people, and it was a free fucking concert.
Yeah, out there in Ghana, in the motherland.
Out there in the motherland, he had Erykah Badu, Dave Chappelle, Black Star, Mos Def was of course there, T-Pain, Jeremiah, and a couple of African
Murray?
artists. No, he ain't had no Keith Murray. But I gotta give a shout out to them because to draw over 50,000 people in Ghana. And Chance the Rapper said his goal is to do this every year to help. He's partnered up with a lot of investors out there, developers. So they're trying to get to the point where they can have multiple festivals. And then he like, hopefully in 20 years we can spread it out through different parts of Africa and have these big festivals and bring the economy up in those type of communities that do suffer a lot. So I got to give him a round of applause for that. Him and Vic Mensa are very, very in tune with the streets here in Chicago. They do a lot of benefits and donations and a lot of charities and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I had to shout that out. You know what I'm saying?
It was a whole controversy, when Meek Mill was out there.
What he
Yeah.
And he filmed that. He filmed a video, and basically, I forgot what they call it, what the actual name is. It's the equivalent of the White House,
Right.
like it's their presidential palace in Ghana. And he went in there just all through there filming the music video. Like people, local Ghanaians were saying they thought it was disrespectful. It was a whole thing.
You know, like nigga shit.
I mean, they let him do it, right?
I mean,
he didn't sneak in there and do
That's
that
what I'm
shit.
saying.
Right. He said he didn't. He just had a cameraman. Like he had a cameraman follow him the whole time.
but my thing is though, it's a certain social decorum. It's like
Indeed.
you know what I mean. I was like, I would expect if we were to walk in the museum right now, that I think it's safe to assume that if you brought out a camera and I just started doing a music video, that's some shit I shouldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, that's you see what I'm saying? And then it's like people are like, yo, what the fuck is this nigga doing? You see what I'm saying? So it's like maybe he didn't have permission to do it, or they didn't tell him that he couldn't do it. But at the same time, it's like social decorum.
Yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should.
I feel that. It is the president's house. I feel you.
So, but yeah, man. But shout out to them and the Black Star Festival. I heard a lot of things about it. You know what I'm saying?
I want to go. I want to go because I heard they was paying for the airfare to go out there too. I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, they was doing a lot of things.
I did not know.
A couple of my parties went out there. They was like, dude, Chicago took up 2 whole hotels.
Man,
damn.
shit.
Hope you wasn't working in.
Right.
Cut this shit off.
Y'all got bitches in there?
Hey,
What the fuck?
how many in there?
I would not be working on that day.
Shit.
I would be enjoying myself with the festivities.
You can't have multiple bitches. If it's just one guy. It's one bitch per nigga.
I'm doing math here.
I would be the plug. I would be the reason why everybody got
security.
these rooms.
Right. This nigga.
Like, y'all just take over the hotel. Y'all go ahead.
Like how many? 1, 2, 3. No, too many bitches. Too many bitches. One of the bitches
They
gotta
got
go.
a whistle
One
and
of-
shit.
Hey, man. I was doing my job, niggas. Okay.
I bet you was. You should have got. I hope you get a raise this shit. If you don't get a raise
Right.
that shit, I'd be.
Yeah, man. But moving on. A little while ago, probably like a little over a month ago, man. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
What's now?
But about a month or so ago, there's this dude. I guess his name is Pootie.
Tang?
Right. Poudii. He does like a lot of YouTuber, man. He does like a lot of going to different hoods and shit. You know what I'm saying? Documenting like how the people live or whatever.
Yeah.
And he went inside Alaska's most dangerous hood.
Really?
That sounds.
Wait.
So
It does sound.
Did he
like,
go into a niggly?
a niggly?
Damn.
that sounds so oxymoron.
Oh, damn.
But continue. My bad. I don't want to interrupt you while you say.
I mean, it's not a whole lot to be said. It was just like it was a group of young teenagers that looked like maybe some in like 1920s. Man, they just taking them all throughout Alaska and showing them how they get down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought it was horrible. It's like you guys are literally at the end of the damn earth, and you choose to be that.
Right, you know what I mean? It's like why? Right, why?
So that's a part of it. I also So y'all remember DJ Quick had that song Just Like Compton? I don't know.
Yep.
But like, so basically the song was about him being on tour and going like to these little small places,
Right.
And like thinking like he from Compton, thinking like, niggas don't get down out here, but like y'all actually niggas do get down.
Niggas
You
do.
know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like it's definitely a hood everywhere. Because it's not really necessarily, it's more so about socioeconomic status than it is about anything else. I mean, yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is. Now there's definitely, because when you talk about, so when you talk about the behaviors of just being poor and disadvantaged, and when you talk about, because it's just like, I don't feel like, and even though I've never been, I don't feel like there's really a reason for niggas to be active like that in Alaska.
Me neither.
You know what I'm saying? But that's not, and then it's just like, you got to think about what these people like, because one of the shorties was on there talking about, like, when he came up there, his mom was from Chicago.
All right.
You know what I mean? So she came up here to get that,
that stipend.
That stipend that they give him every month. You know what I'm saying?
stipend.
Between that, so they get that. I think it was crazy. Like if you get like $2,000 per kid. Yeah, like every resident gets like maybe like $2 or $3 grand, and if you got kids, you get an extra stipend per child. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got like, you get like 2 or 3 kids. I mean, one household could be bringing in an extra like over 10K.
So what do you do if you want to have more kids?
You can have them. They don't put a number. I don't think they put a cap on it.
So government subsidy strikes again.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. So I mean, but it's also because,
Just saying.
But it's a territory, and it's because people aren't rushing to live in Alaska, so it's just to incentivize people to come out and come and live there. So you have people that are coming from disadvantaged communities. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe somebody coming from the South Side of Chicago, and they going up there basically for looking for a better life.
Are they really?
But I mean, yeah, but
I mean,
it's like
if you're making like $2,000 per kid.
But no, what I'm saying is, it's just like, but just because they've left that doesn't mean they left their upbringing. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a cop out,
so,
bro.
No, that's real shit. That's facts.
I'm gonna get
horrible.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something.
That's kind of a cop out.
No, you want to tell you something? Back in the day,
oh Lord,
in the mid '90s.
When I snitch, don't know. I'm sorry.
In the mid '90s,
okay,
HBO had a series
all right,
called Banging in Little Rock.
Yeah.
Okay,
and we sat here. People didn't sit here, as I'm saying, but back then we was like, "Ain't nobody in Little Rock.
right?
Who's banging in Little Rock?" We couldn't believe that they was banging in Little Rock.
And they was out there doing it.
And what happened was, you had a blood that moved from L.A. to Little Rock, was hustling. He was already broke. He lived in the hood. He needed money. He started hustling. Next you know, he started recruiting motherfuckers. Now you got bloods in Little Rock.
Did he move to Little Rock for a better life? No.
I mean, nah, but
we don't know why he moved.
It's like just like, cause you know, I mean, just like you got folks everywhere, you got vice lords everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like people travel, people go, and they bring it with them.
Yeah, you got hoods in Amsterdam, London.
Why though?
Like because they grow up just like how we grow up here.
When you talk about, like you said, like being hood is not just about like how you feel or what you do. It's really about like where you come up, your circumstances. Like a lot of this shit. A lot of the things that we do, a lot of the things that end up happening in the quote unquote hood is because of people being economically disadvantaged and desperate.
And ghetto.
Right, I'm about to say. I think.
But no, because you're like acting like people just want to do these things.
Apparently, like they do.
No, that's not. No, that's that. You can't just say that because people. So if you go to bed hungry every night, you don't think that's gonna make you a little angry?
If I go to bed hungry every night, I'm gonna say I'm gonna move to place ABC for a better life. I'm not gonna bring the bullshit that put me in the hungry situation to said place.
So okay. But what if you're a kid and you don't really have control over that? You can't just pick up and move.
I'm just saying.
What if you're strictly relying on your parents? You know what I'm saying?
I'm just speaking of these guys who transplant themselves.
But these are kids though. They didn't transplant themselves. They were brought here. These are shorties.
So I'm saying, why would they decide to embrace a culture that's clearly not benefiting them?
And what I'm saying is, you don't know if that's necessarily a decision, like a conscious decision for them to do. Now, there could be something about like them wanting to emulate certain things that they see. You know what I'm saying? But that's also a part of how, like in the 90s when Mensa Society came out. You know what I'm saying? And then you had like niggas in Chicago wearing khakis and dickies and shit.
Indeed.
You know
New Jack City.
Yeah, well, so it's just like and doing certain things and like being influenced by that. You know what I mean? Like, so that is a part of it, but you can't necessarily say that they all are just choosing to be this way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When people are poor And when people are disadvantaged, I mean, they have a higher propensity for violence. It's just facts.
Okay, but you gotta keep in mind though, is it fair to say that we all grew up in the hood? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we all fall for that same bullshit that we see?
No.
Okay, so
but I had both my parents at home. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, and I didn't. So the whole idea of this whole thing being it's just maybe it's a single parent. I know people that have both of their parents are well off and they were still selling crack and gang banging. Why? I don't fucking know.
Because could be having a fascination with the lifestyle.
Okay, right. But at the same time, that individual that I'm talking about, that shit was selective.
Yeah.
As far as when he wanted to do it. So it wasn't like he was in it out here actually doing this shit.
Right.
It was it was I'm I know some of y'all. I'm gonna kick it with y'all, but especially when y'all gotta do this drill shit, whatever the case, I'm gonna take my ass home. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So as far as being actually entrenched in that lifestyle, if we're gonna talk about kids, first of all, their parents is still in some way, shape, or form has some type of influence. Granted, I get it, especially if it's a single mother and raising boys. I can see the disparity in that and how it's damn near impossible if this boy, especially with all this raging testosterone, doesn't know where the fuck his father is or is seeking some type of male interaction, and he finds another dude that's the same age, and they both create a friendship and a bond based off the same thing, and essentially tribalism kicks in, and then they find a culture they want to adapt. Let's just say being made Crip, Blood, GD, whatever the case is. I understand how all of that develops, but using the excuse of social economic status can only get you so far. I'm the main reason that for me it triggers me because it's like I'm tired of hearing that shit. Because I am one individual, and I know plenty of people that was in the same position I am, and they did not do this bullshit.
Yeah. And these kids are literally getting paid to live there.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're not getting paid.
Right. So their parents are getting paid. So what social economic status do they have, considering their household has the money to keep them afloat where they don't have to do it?
Well, hold on, because just because you may get the household may get 10K at the beginning of the year, nigga, you know how fast motherfuckers can go through 10K.
Wait, hold on. I'm not necessarily saying that they are taking the money, they're being responsible, and they're doing everything that they need to. If the notion to move out of the state, I don't give a fuck what anybody want to say. Alaska is owned by the U.S., I get it, but I don't consider them a part of the states because they're fucking not. So you leave the United States, as far as the ones that are all connected, there's a culture. Outside of the other two states that are not connected, the other two states, I put that in quotations because we just took that shit over. Hawaii and Alaska, their culture is completely different from what we see here in the States. Indeed. It is not the same. So this whole notion, I don't live in Alaska. I can't say I've been to Alaska, but I'm almost positive as far as the neighborhoods and whatever the case is, whatever they see and experience up there as far as social economic statuses and disparities are not remotely close to the same with what they see as far as the neighborhood development. So this whole notion that is like how you took the example from the dude moving from California to Little Rock, Arkansas. He brought, next he needed money. He was selling crack. Next Blood is here. As far as how it was then versus how it is now, and I'm almost positive that the hoods that are in America versus Alaska, which is technically a part of America, are not even remotely close to the same. And as far as the petri dish that is needed to create it is not there.
Indeed. And even one of the
in my opinion. Now I could be wrong.
Yeah. And even one of the
people don't leave their culture. You know what I'm saying? If they travel, they bring their culture with them.
So this sounds like a PSA for eugenics or racism. It does, because it's saying, well, you're black.
What does eugenics mean?
No, bro, because you dwindling it down to race. It's not saying that just because you're black you have a high propensity for violence.
But you just said people can't escape their culture.
I didn't say people can't escape it. I said people bring their culture with them.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. It's definitely not the same thing. When you say people can't escape, it's like people are trying to escape. It's just like when you know how many motherfuckers go to Minnesota or Iowa or Wisconsin just to try to get a fucking Section 8 voucher. They're not necessarily going. Yeah, they're not necessarily going to get away or doing it. They just want it. They just want Section 8. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to necessarily try to change their lives, so to speak, or to do certain things. Like they're going just where there's an opportunity there. They're
subsidy nomads.
There's an opportunity there for them. So this not necessarily means they're going to change their ways. So the same shit that they was doing in Chicago, they're going to bring that shit with them. So this is what. So that's a big piece of it. What we looking at, people bringing their shit with them.
That's why I said this sounds like a PSA for eugenics or racism.
No, but so you think so just because they move to Alaska that means they're not poor.
It's not about poor. It's about the culture, like you just said.
Being poor is a part of it. That shit is that's why I said in the beginning, socioeconomic status.
So I would say it's more like the culture precedes the poorness than the poorness precedes the culture, because it's like they're embracing a culture that's endemic to poverty, dysfunction, and crime. So if I want to be a part of this culture, I have to embrace poverty, dysfunction, and crime, even if it's not necessary.
Well, the highest salary that is made in Alaska, because of the population is so dense, is $82,398.
Okay,
that's only 75% of those people making that money. That's one going off of that. That's one fact right there. So because you have more people, like my thing is this: there are hoods and ghettos everywhere in the world. Period.
Hoods and ghettos.
Period. Well, we have a Robert Taylor. You remember the ghetto, right? Robert Taylor, you remember Cabrini Green,
right? Sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
You've been to Cabrini Green. You've been in hoods, right? Right? Yes. Inglewood, all that?
The project buildings, okay.
Right. Those same circumstances exist in Alaska, London, Berlin, Amsterdam. You do have everybody over there is not super rich, or because we live here and we look at another country like, oh, they have a better health care or they do benefits and they pay more. They don't have a hood. They have a hood. So you got people that live in Alaska that basically go 6 months in dark. 6 months in dark.
Okay.
What happens in the dark?
I don't know, vampires.
A lot of things they don't have in Alaska. They don't have a huge gang presence. They have a high.
So they had to bring it with them.
Listen, they have a high drug trafficking area. They have a lot of meth, pills, all types of shit, heroin, cocaine, all of that. So when you mix all of that in, then you have people that's not even making $40,000 a year or $80,000 a year. Some people feel that, I could be a kingpin out here because I'm in fucking Alaska and there's 20 people in my whole neighborhood and each person is like a mile away. So I can do what the fuck I want to do. And in some cases, they do have areas where there are like the most people. The biggest town is only like 80,000 people.
Okay. Where does the gang part kick in? I'm trying to make sure.
So what I'm trying to say is that just because you're in Alaska or any other country outside of America doesn't mean that you can ignore the gang culture there. Because if you grow up in it, then that's all you know. Just like a 14-year-old that grew up in Inglewood. That's all he knows.
What I'm trying to say, this is Alaska. It's literally almost at the end of the earth, right across the street from Russia.
What does it care where's it at?
Let me finish my thought, bro. What I'm saying to you, does the poverty precede the culture, or does the culture precede the poverty, or is the poverty endemic to the culture? If I bring my culture with me, there's no poverty here. I have to make poverty. I have to make it crime ridden.
Bro, there's broke people, there's homeless people.
But they're not ghetto.
How do you know that?
Because I'm saying all of Alaska's not doing what
only America can be ghetto. Is that what we're saying?
I'm not speaking about Americans.
So you just said you can't be ghetto.
Okay. Wait a minute. Well, there's a fine line that we crossing. Let's make a distinction. First of all, ghetto itself. Are you speaking of a behavior, or are you speaking of the conditions? Because both are insulting to either way it goes is an insult. That's thing number one. Because as far as what a ghetto is, that is so far outside of that definition.
Indeed.
So what are we talking about as far as this ghetto thing? We talking about behavior. Or we talking about conditions. As far as the whole the insult.
Here,
all right,
I'm talking behavior. I'm saying, why is this behavior necessary? Why?
I mean, it's not necessary here, but it happens, bro.
So
we
okay,
dismiss it.
Not arbitrarily.
it's not about. So there is a point of like how you're raised and where that shit comes from, right? Now some of it could be just being influenced by culture, and a lot of our culture has to do with sex, drugs, and violence. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you talk about hip hop, like that's definitely a factor. But what I'm gonna say is I'm not just gonna completely dismiss this as them just choosing to be reckless. You know what I'm saying? Or just choosing to have like a poverty mindset, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like this is just a choice and them wanting to be like, or trying to pretend to be something that they're not.
Right. These
Because
ain't rich kids trying to be thugs.
Yeah, I don't know like who raised them. I don't know exactly where they come from. Like I said, one of the shows talked about his mom coming from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They're coming up here. So who knows where she grew up? Who knows what type of upbringing she had?
She might have came out there with that shit. Like,
and just because they moved to Alaska, that don't mean that they up there getting money. You know what I'm saying? They could still be very poor. And when people are poor, and when people, like I said, when your stomach hurt and when you ain't ate shit in a while, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you liable to do certain things to in trying to eat.
I don't think. Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't think that is being argued. I think what is being argued is
it real or not?
No. I think what's being argued is the gangs, as far as the I guess what is deemed to be black culture itself. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. If your stomach is like, I'm not in the gang. If my stomach is hurting, I lost my job, my families need to eat, and my family needs to eat. Ain't no telling what I need to do to feed them. Ain't no telling. So in that case, that part isn't being argued. What he's saying is, and I'm kind of in agreement with him, is at what point does so let's say I'm a vice lord from Chicago, and I'm selling drugs out here, shooting at ops, I'm doing whatever I'm doing all that shit right, and I go to Alaska. At what point do I like, I'm not in Chicago anymore, right? So I don't have to do this shit anymore. Indeed. Why in the fuck am I going to bring it here and create that when I didn't create it in Chicago. I was brought up, that's what it was here. Right. In Alaska, that presence isn't heavy. Not even we're not even going to use Chicago as an example. Let's just use something like a Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock compared to the South Side of Chicago, especially where games were birthed, Little Rock, Arkansas can't hold a candle to Chicago. Right. But if you're out of that circumstance where it was not your fault, you go to a place where it's not prevalent at all. Why create that?
Indeed, the same environment.
You see what I'm saying? Expect all things considered, you have, even if you're somebody that is damn near indoctrinated. I get what you're saying in that part, and they probably not necessarily doing it on purpose, and they can't help it. At what point when you get there, the circumstances are different. It's not the same.
So I understand that, and I agree. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily think that it's like that's their story. Like you can't automatically assume that that's what's happening there.
But even one of them he said there are plenty opportunities for people who are civilians. He said that out of his mouth.
In terms of getting free money, getting paid to live there. You know
but he's saying, in terms of jobs, etc.
I mean, yeah,
there is no jobs there, bro.
No, there are jobs.
I mean, there's jobs,
but you may not be making a whole lot of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
$83,000 is the most you can make there. That's the highest
you really
income
doing
there
in
in
Alaska.
Yeah, so it may not be necessary. Like I said earlier, like I don't think they're like there's a reason for you to be as active. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how many ops do you really gonna have in Alaska? You know what I'm saying? But I've never been there, so I don't know, because like I said, I didn't been places. You know what I'm saying? Like especially as a shorty, going around little small towns in the Midwest. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Like I went to school in Iowa. I was down there, like, you know what I'm saying, getting into shit. And it was just like a few times it was just like, cause you think, you know, I'm from the South Side. These niggas in Iowa, they ain't on shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it was a couple of times that shit didn't work out the way I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, niggas get busy everywhere. You know, you can't necessarily just rule out that just because they live in a certain place that they don't have a reason to be who they are or why they are. Now could there be some unnecessary cultural influence and them kind of choosing to try to emulate a lifestyle because they feel like they want to be a part of it? Because they are so far, because they are so separated from the mainland. Yeah, I think that could be a factor. What I'm saying is I'm not gonna just automatically assume that's what's happening, that they just basically perpetrated. And they could just be, you know what I'm saying, kind of like victims of this shit like a lot of us are. And just because like some of us can separate, just like you said, just because you didn't grow up or you didn't have both of your parents, you know what I'm saying, you turned out fine, you turned out to be an upstanding individual. A lot of times that's the exception and it's not the rule. Because there wouldn't be certain things that would have been purposely done to us if that wasn't the case.
Now,
you know
let me clarify something. But especially when I said I have both my I grew up in a single mother. I knew who my father is. You know, I mean,
and but in the household, right.
But he was. That's what I mean by I didn't have both my parents like in the house. Like I know my pa. That's my guy.
Right.
But you know, as far as you know, just to clarify that. But you know,
good.
But yeah. But
to clarify another thing, you said Alaska's a country, nigga. It's a state.
My bad.
This guy. But so to me, that's why I say it's a PSA for segregation, because when they start having colonies on Mars and Moon and whatnot, and then the black people say, "Oh, I want to come to Mars too."
Oh, they not coming.
You gonna bring that nigga shit with you too?
No, we're not.
Well, it's hard on Mars, you know what I'm saying? And even no fucking water up, it wasn't supposed to do.
Wherever there are humans, there are going to be the haves and the have-nots.
Which is
This
true.
ain't about the haves
Because
and
the
have-nots,
haves
though.
are going to want shit done for them that they're not going to want to have to do themselves. And they're going to want to pay people a very menial wage in order for them to do the things that they don't want to do themselves.
But
So wherever there's humans, there will be the haves and the have-nots.
This is about a toxic culture that's doing a group of people no good who tend to cling to it for some reason.
I mean, and that's fair. You know what I'm saying? That is a part of it. I think this nigga ain't making an hour for you.
Yeah.
Old ass bladder, man.
Yeah, because I'm saying, fuck it, we gonna have a drive-by on Mars and shit. Nigga, I got a hoverboard. I just fucked this alien. What you talking about?
We're not going to Mars. You legitimately think they're gonna take our ass
No
to Mars?
niggas on Mars. What excuse they gonna use?
Excuse? It's easy.
You know what? I feel like a lot of people should go to Mars. You know what I'm saying? It's too many fucking people.
You know what's before? What if they said we got a prison on Mars?
That's a very common misconception. There's not a lot of people on the population is decreasing. That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, slowly now, but no, there's definitely overpopulation because there's nothing. You know, I mean, humans are apex predators. We don't have any natural, especially because of advances in medicine. Like the population has boomed, like well past. Like I mean, obviously it doesn't have to affect the earth the way it does, and we're getting off into a whole nother.
I was about to say,
that was bathroom break talk.
Yeah, right.
That's the old man bladder.
Yeah, but I just think clinging to a toxic culture and bringing it wherever it's a bad look for everybody, not just them. It's a bad look for everybody.
It's funny as hell why we talking about this.
I know, right?
Out here on Cane Drive, fucking ambulance going past.
But here's the thing. But to defend Jarrell's point as well, they can't. I really do believe that especially at that age, even the parents themselves, I believe we've seen people like this outside. We have.
Right.
They can't help it at this point. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that. It's just like
you sound like Charles Darwin.
No. I mean, it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Some shit he would say.
The more objective you become, and when you really take a step back and when you really watch behaviors, some people can't fucking help it. I legit like they're in like that
Scary,
culture
bro.
itself, the mindset, whatever you want to call it, is the indoctrination is so deep that they can't help it. They have no choice but to duplicate it there. They have to, you know what I mean? It's like if you're moving, that's a part of your luggage.
Yeah, some of it is. I mean, some of it is inherent. Some of it you doing like it's genetic. So
we've been out here. Genetic.
We've been out here for a while.
But you know what's the crazy thing about it? Alaska has 3 million lakes.
Has what?
Weird.
3 million
lakes.
3 million lakes. Come on, dude. That doesn't.
That's not because I mean so much of Alaska is like uninhabited,
it's frozen.
Most of Alaska is wilderness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, because like
it has the largest forest. Yeah. 16.7 million acres of forest.
Yeah, it's Alaska is mostly wilderness. Like you have like the only major city I know of that I can think of in Alaska is Anchorage. But there's actually a show I watch a lot called Life Below Zero.
Yeah, I watch that
on National Geographic. I don't watch as much as I used to, but I definitely used to watch.
Their capital, you can't get there by road. You either have to boat or fly in.
Yeah. So there are places out there where you live like in certain times of like in winter, like you can't get like into like wherever the main town is or whatever like to get supplies. So like you literally have to like they basically spend all the spring and summer preparing for winter.
That
like
just
hunting
makes
and
it
getting all
more
these.
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, but you talk about people that live in the wilderness.
Makes it more hilarious.
They live in these people live in the city.
So,
But, I said, but we need to move on.
I'm being a farce and suddenly I hear T.I.
I mean, they listen to rap music out there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, rap everywhere.
Yeah, man.
This
But,
hilarious. Shout out to the Nigloos.
Nigga.
Hey, you know what? You better never go to Alaska. If this episode ever makes it to Alaska, some little
waiting on
nigga will
your
be out
ass.
there.
All
Like,
because ain't that many niggas out there.
Right.
They don't know.
That just makes it
Hey,
even
fam.
more
There you go, right there.
There's gonna be 4
You
niggas
talking that
coming
shit.
out
fam.
to me.
Let me holler at you, fam.
We sure you get down in Alaska, cuz.
Like, really?
playing
What
out
is the
here.
accent there? I wonder what the accent
I
would be.
don't know if
Ain't no
there's
accent.
yeah, I don't think it
Eskimo?
is.
Eskibro or some shit. I don't know.
I mean, you
No,
know.
Eskimo as in Mo.
I just
No, it's not.
think most
Eskimo.
niggas.
I got it up there. It's not there. That's not there.
Eskimo is in Mo.
That was all media purposely made of thinking people live in igloos in Alaska, and they really
I'm
don't.
quite sure they got some igloos up there. I mean,
They-
you
they
still got
don't.
native peoples up there, don't you? I would imagine you do.
Yeah, but
When you up there,
No, it's definitely natives. Up
it's
there.
natives up there, but they don't live in igloos.
Why wouldn't they?
It's no such thing as igloos in Alaska, fam.
How you know?
I'm looking at it, dude. I got like 30 tabs about Alaska open. I've read everything about Alaska. One of the biggest misled things is igloos. Like he was like, only thing we don't have igloos. That was what the natives used way back in the day when they used to be on the ice and ice fish. Now we have cabins. Nobody has igloos anymore.
I remember everybody was laughing at Sarah Palin when she said she could see Russia from her house in
you
Alaska.
can, but you
Yeah, I was
actually
like,
can. You actually
yeah.
can.
They used to
Right,
own.
you actually can.
Russia used to own Alaska.
So there actually used to be is allegedly, according to archaeologists, there used to be a land bridge that would.
Yeah, the Bering Strait.
Yeah.
The closest point from Alaska to Russia is 17 miles apart. It's not that far.
It's
That's
just-
your
this thing
facts
just
about
gets
Alaska,
more
people.
and more hilarious.
I
I'm
bet you
sorry,
guys
bro.
wasn't. I bet you guys
dog.
wasn't expecting that conversation.
It just gets more and more hilarious. Like, what?
But it was hilarious to us because we was in a group chat just thinking about like Alaska. Because my first thing was before I did the research was like, is people really gangbanging in Alaska?
It's really weird.
And then I spent
It's
like a whole
hilarious.
week like
I mean,
watching videos,
So you
artists.
you can tell that there's like a cultural influence there, but but you also don't know everybody's background. You don't know where they come from.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we ain't never been there, so I'm not going to automatic. Because like I said, I've made that assumption. Well, thinking like, oh man, they ain't on that shit out here. Like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, my homegirl Nikki, which was my manager at Starbucks, she lived in Alaska for 2 years because she was an Army kid.
How long you been
Nice.
trying to get off this topic?
I'm sorry.
Man,
All right.
Not bad.
This is what happens every episode. This is how we end up with like an hour and 45 minute show.
Well, we at? We only have 50 minutes.
No, we not, because I started late. That's why I looked at the time. We're actually so it was 15 minutes before, so we're probably at like 105, 104.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, shout out to Bigfoot.
right.
He's in Alaska too. Probably got
On
on
a
a
sadder note,
He probably got on a pair of Jordans now.
Nigga out there smoking loud with Sasquatch.
He's smacking niggas. He got a yaki fur and shit.
Like Sasquatch literally smacking the shit out of people. Like,
Where's my money, bitch?
but yeah, man. But moving on to our last topic.
sadder note.
Yeah, like a little bit of a. So there have been a rash. Just what we've been seeing. That's what we decided to talk about. There have just been a rash of like reported like domestic violence incidents where like men are like killing women, like ex-boyfriends, boyfriends, husband. I just read something earlier about this guy that they had just got married and then he fucking decapitated his wife. Yeah, it's that's the story. I mean, you sent me the story about the story you sent me about she had met the man on a dating site. He ended up killing her after a week of dating.
Yeah.
You hear about stuff like that all the time, and you just hear about like guys kind of just losing their shit and going off and like just killing the women, you know, that they're around. Just a couple of numbers, man. I looked at was kind of, is when you really look at the shit, man, it's kind of alarming. So like in 2019, a lot of the stats aren't the latest stats I could find were from 2020.
Indeed.
So in 2019, nearly 1,800 women were murdered by men. The most common weapon used was a gun. And they said 91% of women killed by men were murdered by someone they knew. And in 2020, there were 8,977 murder offenders in the United States who were male, which is almost 7 times the number of female murder offenders in the same year. Right? So so there are far more men out here committing homicides than there are women.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just, I'm not understanding the alarming.
Well, the alarming thing is in the past 3 weeks, we've had over 20 cases of either man killing their ex-girlfriend because they don't want to talk to him no more. We just had a young lady on the west side of Chicago got shot in the head last week after arguing with her ex-boyfriend that she was coming in the house.
That's crazy. I think it's all linked together. What my man Warren Farrell coined the boy crisis. He wrote a book. It's called The Boy Crisis, where America is making weak men. Where there are more women going to college. There are a lot of women making more money, and it's like we have a lot of men who are fatherless. And a lot of these men, and I'm going to even say it, especially white men who feel like they don't have a purpose. They depressed. They can't get any attention from women. They don't have any education. They don't have any money. They being bullied, so they just take to a gun. And we living in this Me Too era. It's like if I approach a woman, I'm being too aggressive. If I don't approach her aggressive enough, I'm being a goofy. If I don't say anything to her, I'm being intimidating. So I think a lot of these guys, feeling really ostracized and they're picking up guns. And I think this is connected not just to violence against women. It's also the same thing for school shooters.
I think it's really just about, there's always this kind of I think it's a kind of a misconception to say women are emotional and men are not emotional. I think men are very emotional. I think that because of the society that we live in and the expectations that are placed on men, that a lot of times men don't necessarily want to feel like they have the space to express. Just like you said, they can be labeled as soft or whatever. Indeed. Right? If you really talk about how you feel and how things affect you. So when you hold that stuff in, a lot of times shit explodes. You know what I'm saying? Because the dudes that are out there that are committed these crimes or have done things to women, a lot of times that stuff that's built up from other pasts. They're seeing other women or other things that have happened to them in their lives and things that they've never expressed, things that they've never talked about, things that bothered them. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it comes out and it's because the only emotion that a lot of times men express is anger and rage. Indeed.
It goes back to my saying. I said sometimes men feel the only time they're taken serious is they pull out a pistol or their penis. And it's the only time they're taken serious.
And I understand that how sometimes people feel that way. I personally just feel like it's more so about how you view and how you feel about yourself. And it's just they say it's self-esteem. Nobody else should be able to get that to you.
It's self-esteem, nigga.
So
this guy.
It's about esteem about yourself.
That was just so random. But so it's more so about how you feel about yourself. So it's just I always laugh when you have all these people that are talking about how things how women are emasculating them or doing things that they make them feel less than a man. And it's just there's nothing anybody outside of me can do to make me feel like I'm less of who I am.
But one thing you mentioned, you had 2 parents.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, brother. See, okay, this is coming from an individual that had to battle exactly what you're saying isn't possible. This is from I want y'all to listen to me because I actually experienced this.
Okay.
The notion that men and women, that men aren't emotional is bullshit. The thing is, men and women are both equally emotional. Men usually tend to react through logic. Women typically don't. Villains. When you eliminate the majority of the male influence to teach men how to react through logic, they have no choice but to go through the individual that raised them, which is typically leaning through reacting towards emotion.
Indeed.
So one of the things that I had to learn eventually is to use that innate energy in me and ignore the want to act out emotionally and listen to your logical side. I wasn't taught that shit. This is something that I had to learn.
Not me either. And there's also something that I had to learn. Like, I actually had to give myself a rule. Because I would definitely be out here. You know what I'm saying? I had temper. I was out here doing all types of wild shit.
I mean, but I don't. But here's another important thing that I don't want to get confused.
All right.
I legitimately think people tend to forget that we have testosterone at a higher amount than women. So as far as our tendencies to violence, rage, whatever, legitimately every male on earth has a higher tendency of that just based off their dominant hormone.
Indeed.
So that's one of the reasons why football is so popular, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, MMA. Men have to have that outlet for their testosterone.
Indeed.
So this notion that men are more like, well, yes, of course, duh. I mean, that's a part of testosterone. You know what I mean? Like men, like that's one of the reasons why, like a lot of these little young kids out here, these little boys out here doing wilding, jumping niggas, shooting, blah blah blah. It's their testosterone. Their testosterone levels are on 10 every fucking day, but they don't have anybody. They don't have a male to actually coach them through this testosterone. So the notion that, again, that, you know, that men are this and men got to learn this, like, well, the main thing is we got to, the guys that are out here that don't have that male influence, there's a part in you that I know that you feel that is called logic. Listen to that motherfucker.
Indeed.
Listen to him. So, you know, because like, to me, that's bitch nigga shit that's out here that's killing a woman just because she want to fucking talk to you. You a fucking hoe. It is what it is. Yeah, and so, you know, so I excuse me for sounding aggressive in that. I don't give a fuck about your feelings, but you are allowing you're not listening to logic. You're allowing your emotions to run ham.
Well, another thing, it's like there's kind of an assault on masculinity as well, because it's like if you like embrace logic in situations, a lot of times people are going to say, now you're being toxic or you're mansplaining me.
I agree. I agree 1,001%. Now, to the women that's listening to what I'm saying, a good majority of you have been fed a lie.
Oh, shit.
The lie is that men don't know what the fuck they talking about. Men are stupid. Women are smarter than men. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying in cases that they aren't. I'm not saying, well, we are actually smarter than y'all. I'm not on that shit at all. You have to let a man be a man. Indeed. Just like we have to let a woman, and conversely, you have to let a woman be a woman. Because there's a lot of men out here that out here with daddy issues. Indeed. They're actually searching for a woman to be their daddy.
Wow. You
see what I'm saying? So, but you got to allow men to be in. Just because I will never forget the first time I've been told that I've been mansplained, because I fell for this. This was some years ago when I was still a personal trainer, and I was under this. With the whole, I didn't understand that my masculinity was quote unquote being attacked. No, this is real shit. Okay. This is when I was personal training. I remember I had a client, and it's a very, very liberal woman. Oh, snap. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
So there was a machine that we were going to. Okay. And as we were walking past this machine, there was this new machine that had just got training on. So I knew everything about it because that was something that was pushing, and we had to learn about this machine. This is when I was working at FFC on Roosevelt and State.
Nice.
So we walked past that machine, and then she was asking what this was, and I'm like, oh, so I'm starting to tell her about it. So whoa. Right now you're mansplaining to me.
Wow.
And I was taken aback. I was like, oh shit, I am. Years later, no the fuck I wasn't. Right. I'm telling you what the fuck it was. Yeah. I literally just got trained on this. I didn't have a particular I was excited to talk about this shit because I literally had to go through like 3 hours of training the day before on this fucking machine. Yeah. So I knew everything about it. So this notion that what, like, for example, would you saying the whole attack on masculinity, that shit was real.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And I didn't realize I was going through that shit. So ladies, if a man is sitting there like mansplaining, that literally mansplaining was anything that a man says is considered mansplaining.
I kind of want to because I don't want this to turn into I don't like because I don't want us to even sound like there's any sort of like justification to saying like
Oh,
exactly.
Wait a minute.
No. And I'm not saying that's not what you were saying. And let me finish.
But the general public be like, so what they trying to say? They have an excuse to do what they do.
Yeah. So let me just finish what I was about to say. Because there's definitely when you talk about like letting a man be a man or anything like that, like. And what you preface that by saying that anybody that does commits any such acts of violence against women are like scum of the earth, flowing and low. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but in terms of like, I think when you said earlier shit being a cop out, I think like that shit is a cop out for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because like I am a man. We are men, right? We are born genetically. We were born as men, right? So. How the fuck you say you gotta let a man be a man or allow a man to be a man? Ain't nobody allowing me to do shit. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what you're saying because people will try to because like she was definitely out of pocket with the mansplaining thing because that was unnecessary and things like that do happen. People do take it too far. And that goes on both sides. But I just feel like because you see it online all the time. Men are really out here. I mean, you can see it now with Lori Harvey. She done got her new nigga, right? And now, you know what I'm saying? And dudes be on there just so angry, so concerned with what this young woman is doing with her life. Like, those are the same men also already talking about how women are making them feel emasculated, how they're making them feel like they're less than men. How they won't they won't let me be a man and all this other
Grow
shit.
some balls, nigga.
And that's what I'm saying. And because they feel they've made this shit up in their mind, they feel so fucking slighted, you know. And then so these are the type of men that you see to go out here like that and have a higher propensity for violence. You know what I'm saying?
But it's an actual problem though. It's more and more men being like that, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, you're right. It is.
But I don't think you can place the onus on that on women though.
I'm not placing the onus on women. I'm placing the onus on men. I'm placing the onus that nobody wants to deal with men's problems. That's
so you're saying that there is not enough help.
That's why I mentioned my man wrote the book The Boy Crisis because he said there are so many centers for women. He said there are also centers for men. They're called prison.
Well, I would take that. When was that book written?
It probably was written maybe last year or something.
So that's bullshit for one.
How?
Because there are plenty of programs now available, and it has been for the past 4 or 5 years that do deal with mental health. I go to a lot of conferences. We just talked to our homeboy Muffy that has the prostate cancer. He also has a counseling for men to go through counseling that grew up in single family households or that have the lack of knowledge about certain things. There are places for you to go get help.
But it's not necessarily about mental health. Again, it's about being a man is damn near illegal.
How? What do you mean being a man is illegal?
I mean,
give me a promise
just how you was just talking about, like, you know, I'm a man. Can't nobody tell me how to be a man. Some people get heated at you for saying that.
And matter of fact, Larnell, you said grow some balls, nigga. Do you know having just those two statements alone would get y'all like if y'all would have said that shit on national television, you instantly canceled.
I have told that to plenty of niggas in my life.
Listen, you didn't listen to a word I just said. What I said, but just that. Understand what he just said. Considering how you are and what you just said, those two things would be deemed damn near inappropriate to say. It would be. It just is. You can't say if you said that shit on live TV. If you said that shit live on the radio, you are instantly canceled. It is, bro. Like, you see what I'm saying. That's what we mean by that. Yes. That's legitimately what he means. Because now, what I think is, since you are, it's like real, like you are legitimately so comfortable in who you are as a man and as far as your masculinity, you have the self-esteem. You have all, like a lot of that shit, you, as far as what a lot of these kids had to grow up and had to deal with, even with myself, you didn't have to deal with that shit. But I'm telling you.
What do you mean I didn't have to deal with? I didn't have to deal with what?
As far as, oh, I'm a man, can't nobody tell me, like, you know how long it took me to even think that?
I mean, yeah, but it should have had to develop too. You know what I'm saying?
But at the same time, but considering what he's saying, to his point, just saying something like that, feeling like that in today's society is wrong.
Indeed.
That's what he mean by it. And you may think like the whole attack on Max, oh, that's bullshit. No, it isn't. Grow some, but him said, grow some balls, nigga. What? You can't say that in today's society. Are you serious?
I think there, when you talk about people, everybody, when you get into shit like that, I feel like on all sides, people end up getting triggered. People love to project. People love to project what they feel onto other situations. So they don't necessarily have to be accountable to themselves, right? So for a lot of people that are lashing out on either side, for women that think that like all men, or when you talk about the woman, there was you said you were mansplaining, just went off the top with that. Like, I feel like things like that are more so projections. You know what I'm saying? And when you see it all, you look in any sort of comment section, right, online, and like in of popular posts, and like for men and women, and you see just like these extreme reactions out of people, and a lot of times it just seems so unreasonable. And it's like, how did you come to this conclusion? How did you get there from that? But when you talk about the rage of men versus the rage of women, as men, that rage is a lot more dangerous, just because of our physical disposition, physiologically.
Right, but that's an unfair. See, that's a very, very unfair comparison. That's not. You can't do that. Men are men, women are women. Obviously, there's going to be, like, as far as that's like saying the strength versus a man versus the strength versus a woman. Well, yes, of course, that's just an inherent difference, because that's a biological statement. You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying that's why men are using that rage and end up killing more women than vice versa. No, but we can't. But that's the thing. I think the notion that we are talking about the rage in itself, when in all actuality it should be talking about, hey, yo, you need to talk to somebody. Or understand, or somebody needs to tell you, or you never learned that no means no. You never learned and understood how to accept rejection. But we didn't grow up in a culture and society where that was really a thing, where men had to be taught that. It has to be, because for most of the time until recently, really, when you talk about like Me Too and shit, and that's why I feel like there are extreme reactions to it, because there was a culture of where women were just there to have to acquiesce to whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was commonplace. I was just talking about this with a friend of mine earlier. We was about The Color Purple, when Harpo asked Miss Seeley, what do I need to do to get Ophelia to listen to me? And the first thing she said was beat her, right? That was a common thing that you would say, like you would hear men say. I've heard men say this shit like in my lifetime. Like, but that was also, but what decade? Okay, right. No, but I'm saying, but that's up until recently. So for a long time, there wasn't a culture where men were taught that like no means no. That, like, because there was a culture of, she say no, that she just being hard to get. She wants it. Which is, but now they're using lethal force, though. Wait, which is fair. But now we can argue when the whole no means no thing started. I would say the 90s. But but let's just pretend that no means no wasn't ever a thing and never taught, right? Right. Who gives a fuck? It needs to be taught now. You see what I'm saying? Like fuck when the fact that we weren't have to have the conversation in the past. Fuck about it in this decade up until now. It was fuck all of that. We now. Talking about now, all things considered, we have to understand how shit was back then ain't shit how it is now. Exactly. So one thing we need to do on multiple fronts. On multiple fronts. So one thing that needs to be understood, whoever needs to hear this, you need to understand that no means no. And you need to understand how to take rejection. It does not mean if somebody says no to you, if a chick says no to you, it's okay to be upset about it. That's another thing. I think. Some people don't understand, especially guys, it is okay to be upset about something. The problem becomes when you take that emotion that gets you and you take that emotion, you take that energy, and use it in a negative way.
Who usually teaches the man to delay the gratification though?
But again,
his father.
Okay, right. Okay, I understand a lot of that is tied, but here's the thing: is I agree with you with the whole thing is an attack on masculinity. We can have a conversation for days about that.
Yeah.
The problem is, right now, there is no time to really reverse engineer a solution. Right now, if you are within the sound of my voice, there's no way to unstrike a lit match. Okay, so you hearing this, you can't say you haven't fucking heard it.
Uh-huh.
You have zero choice but to whatever happened to you, you got to figure out a fucking way to pull your pants up, strap your boots, and move fucking on about what happened in your past. What didn't happen? Who your father? Fuck all that shit. You got to find a way to move fucking forward. Shit happens, man. It is what it is. So with that being said, if you're an individual who is hyper emotional and you react strictly off emotion, stop. That ain't how the shit go. You got a thing in you called logic. Use your fucking logic. I know for a fact you know how to use your logic. I don't want to use it. I'm saying, like, it's innate. It's a part of you. So there's like, Joe, just if you need to find a group of people that help you, there's resources. Especially if you got this shit here right here. Yeah. Legitimately, nobody has no excuse for anything right now.
People do need to like learn how to deal with their emotions and to seek help if they need help if they need assistance with doing that. Yeah. But I do want to say something. I'm not going to sit here and say when you say there's like somewhat of an attack on masculinity that all of that is unwarranted. Because I do feel it does come from places like I say, because I feel like there's extremism on both sides.
Indeed.
What I do feel like a lot of times what I see with men they want, because you hear the terms traditional and modern in reference to women, and I think that's a lot of bullshit because people want quote unquote traditional women to do things and basically in subservience to men. And things are different now, regardless of what factors, regardless of what caused it, regardless of how we got here. Women have very high earning jobs now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them do. In a lot of cases, more so than men have. And I feel like you hear things and you hear the shit. I hear the shit that men say online a lot of times, like, you know, if a woman is a high earner, that automatically makes her unattractive. Well, I assume when I hear anybody says that, like, dude, you insecure as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the confidence in yourself, because you don't have the confidence in yourself, when you see somebody that has something more than what you have, that you feel like you want, your first reaction is to belittle them. You know what I'm saying? I tell my daughter this all the time. People that are happy with themselves don't talk shit about other people. Indeed. They don't say negative things about other people because they're not worried about what the fuck other people are doing.
Exactly.
They're consumed by their own happiness.
But our culture is the antithesis of that.
Okay,
and a lot of that has to do with the society we live in. You know, they always say comparison is a thief of joy, but we live in a world full of comparisons because we're all looking at everybody else's highlight reels online all the time. So I want people to understand that you can't. That shit is done. You know what I'm saying? Like, women have raised their level in society. And as men, we have to accept that, right? And not necessarily try to paint this old picture of how things used to be and wanting shit.
Things like that no more, fam.
And wanting things like and the thing is, roles as men and roles as women are not, people place so much of that stake on economics. When you talk about having to develop shit, there was a point in time where I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Indeed.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm out here, like, my daughter was young. She was a baby at the time. I ain't had no fucking job. And I felt like I didn't have shit to offer the world at all. You know what I'm saying? And I literally felt like I wasn't really a man because my whole identity as a man was tied into my ability to provide.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's innate, though.
That is a cultural thing. But the thing is,
it's
like,
not cultural. It's innate. See,
it's not because so when we the way you provide and protect and cover is not strictly tied to your finances. Now
we have to tell men and women that.
Now, yeah, exactly. And that, but now don't get me wrong. It is a part of it. It's definitely a part of it. And you can't, even if you don't have your shit together, and on that side, well, at least I'm not saying like you gotta be out here prepared to take care of anybody or any woman that you meet. You gotta be willing to take care of her and do all of that stuff, like financially, completely, right? I'm not saying that, but you at least gotta be able to take care of your motherfucking self. You gotta be able to hold. You have to be able to prove that you can hold a household down. Right?
That's being an adult, though.
But there's a lot of men out here that ain't adults, bro.
Right, but that's not. But the point that I'm saying that's not a man thing or a woman thing. That's just being a fucking adult. You didn't say that. I didn't hear. That's being an adult.
That's fair.
If you being able to take care of yourself. Get your own crib, paying your own bills, blah, blah, blah. In this day and age, that's being an adult.
Okay, now, I give you that. I let y'all talk for a long time. Go ahead.
But because right now we're going off on a big tangent, and there's different things that there was a lot of shit that was said that could, especially with the whole with men saying that they find unattractive that women makes more money, it automatically it makes them unattractive. I get what they're saying to a degree. I wouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. But
I don't get it at all.
I got my because okay. Have you ever dated somebody in a serious? I'm not saying fucked. Have you been in a serious relationship with somebody that made more money than you? And I'm talking about substantial. I'm talking substantial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Definitely.
Now, more often than not, as far as the energies, as far as aggressiveness, was she more aggressive than the average woman? Or as aggressive as the average woman?
Aggressive in what sense?
Weren't aggressive at all.
It was okay. As far as their personality, were they a little more assertive than the average woman?
Very.
There you go.
When you say assertive,
more assertive,
what do you mean? Like when you say assertive and aggressive,
I'm assuming
okay. So when it comes to so like for example, an innate feature in most men is aggression. An innate feature in most women is, as they turn, I think it's called, let's call it agreeableness.
Okay.
So as far as if you're more agreeable, there's a higher tendency that when you work a job and you're not satisfied with your wage, if you go to if it's time to renegotiate your salary, and the boss says, you know what, I'm only gonna give you this, but you really want that, that more agreeable individual is going to be passive, like, okay, I'll take that.
All right.
The guy, typically men are more likely to be like, no, I want more.
Indeed.
And I want to negotiate that, and I'm gonna stick my neck out and say, look, if you don't pay me, I might as well go out and find another job. The lot of women that make this amount of money tend to have that trait. They're not typically agreeable, quote unquote.
All right.
So that's why I asked that.
Or they could have educated themselves and just put them into position to where like that whatever salary and whatever they have is the standard for their profession.
Exactly.
Right? So it doesn't necessarily.
Okay, I didn't. Wait a minute. I never said that wasn't a possibility.
Yeah,
the example I used was specifically asking about their personalities. But
so what I will say before you go on, what I would say is in reference to the women that I've been with that made more money than me at the time. That was the case. They never in any point in time seemed more necessarily aggressive or assertive or, you know, so they may have been like go-getters in the sense where they definitely went after what they wanted. They wanted more, but it nothing about that made them less feminine or anything like that.
Okay, I'm just okay. But as far as I, God, because I still know these people. So
it's all right.
I have a pretty large consensus of individuals where their spouses make more than them, and I'm talking about substantially.
Right. Okay.
All right.
If you watch, and I watch their interactions.
Oh, snap.
If somebody came and was like, yo, the police are going to such and such house,
I don't blame
And
it.
and there's because there's a call of there's a domestic
Right, so
abuse
it's a
call.
call, right.
Like that woman whooped that nigga ass.
Wow.
That's the first thing that's gonna pop in my head.
Wow. But
You see what I'm saying? Like
unfortunately,
as far as
I can relate.
you see what I'm saying? Like
can
it like
relate.
again, this is not just me making this shit up.
Indeed.
This is about reading a bunch of stories and listening to a bunch of. I'm telling you, as far as what that come with, I
think-
get it that you didn't experience that. Good for you. But bro, when I'm telling you, if that's the case, whew, you get lucky. You should marry her.
I don't necessarily think it's about
So-
me being lucky. I think it's how I carry myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's how I carry myself and how I choose to look at things, man.
So-
your perception is your reality. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So on this topic, before we get out of here,
Yeah, because we are
we are pushing it. I just feel that there are different types of people in this world, and there are guys that fall victim to being that level, dealing with a woman with that many goals and aggression, as they would say. A woman once told me, no matter how much money a woman makes over her husband, if that woman believes that she can trust him to lead the relationship, she will let that man lead that relationship.
No, she not.
Because, this is why I say this. Because
All right.
in this situation, and just as he said, it's all about how you carry yourself.
I hear that.
Right? I've known. Now you said the same thing. All the people he know, women runs their husbands.
Right.
I didn't say no. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I said. Please
You did not say that.
He didn't say
I
that.
did not.
exactly.
Thank
He
you.
didn't say that, but
Thank
okay.
you, thank you, real. Like,
But you
God
basically
damn it.
said that
I
if the
didn't
police was
basically-
called to a person's house, you would think that she beat up the guy.
I said one.
Right?
I said one. I did not say one particular incident. Didn't I say that?
What
Is that
particular?
right?
Okay. Anyway, guys,
Finish your point.
So,
Finish
yeah,
your
please
point.
finish your point.
All
basically, bottom line is this. To be a man, you have to understand the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself makes a woman respect you and follow your lead no matter what. So if she makes $300,000 more than you and you make $48,000, you still make and run that household no matter what because she respects you as a man. Period.
I think.
Period.
Okay.
I think.
My
I don't know, bro.
I
don't know about that.
I think we need to. I think we just need to reevaluate.
I'm sorry.
what-
that was funny, bro. Well, go ahead.
I think we just really need to reevaluate what people see themselves as and what it means to be a man.
Yeah, man. Some people
And-
just walk a
and
tightrope. They just not strong enough.
I don't feel like when you say there's a problem with an attack on masculinity, I also think that there's a problem with men and insecurity.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that that's an issue because we just had this whole demo with Meg the Stallion, and you had so many men defending Tory Lanez, and even still now, even after that fucking audio,
Which is weird. How the fuck y'all still defending this nigga? That's
you
so
know what I'm saying,
weird.
talking about Rock Nation and all this other shit, and to me, man, when you talk about how like women are afraid, specifically how women are afraid, and like they feel like in danger, like nobody's out to protect them, man. And like you can't necessarily say when you look at these numbers and when you see shit like that, when it's so obvious that this man, because his fucking pride was hurt, because his ego was hurt,
Wait a minute.
chose. Oh, let me finish.
You posted something like that.
No, because his pride was hurt and because his ego was hurt, he chose to take out a gun and shoot her. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, yeah.
On some bullshit.
For real.
And now he has to sit in jail based off an emotional decision because his fucking feelings was hurt. So it's some real goofy shit.
Some goofy
but
ass shit.
you
For real,
see all these goofy ass niggas defending him, still going hard for him, still
is
trying
so
to act
weird,
like he
bro.
being set up. And that, yeah, and so when you look at that shit and you see the numbers of women that are killed by men on a yearly basis, bro, like we have to stop acting like women are out here just on some bullshit. And when you see, that's why I say it's extremism on both sides, because when they see so much of that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like because you had the Ku Klux Klan, you gonna end up getting the Hebrew Israelites and the 5%ers. You know what I'm saying? There's extremism on both sides. Both of them feel like they're in the right. Both of them feel like they're building up and they're doing their thing for the best of their race. It's the same thing with women and them like feeling slighted and feeling unprotected and feeling like they have nobody to listen to them and nobody's believing them. So yeah, you're gonna get some extreme shit that comes from that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to discredit all that they have to deal with. And we really need to stop, like, we have to to call that shit out and not defend. And men gotta learn how to deal with our emotions. Like and you say, if you gotta talk to them. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you? Yeah,
I was just gonna say. I just feel like that's why we have to take men's issues serious, and more importantly, we have to take boys' issues more seriously because boys turn into men. Yeah. So it's like nobody's really listening to men. So they've turned into, dare I say, monsters. And I think women, unfortunately, they're getting all these things that they wanted. They're getting the job, they're getting the position and things. But I think they get their problems that comes with this position. And I would think one thing that comes with that, they don't have a lot of men in their life, so they don't have a lot of direction. So if they don't have a lot of direction, they're not going to have the same protection.
I mean, in terms of, I feel like,
yeah, fucking rooster up there.
And I feel like if with a lot of men, just based off what I see and what I see, like a lot of people talking about in the manosphere and online and shit, like men just want women that are just gonna listen to them and do what the fuck they tell them to do. While like I would never want. I want a woman. I want a woman that I feel like if she challenges my opinion, I respect her enough to listen to her and I value her opinion. Exactly. I want her to be able to tell me, and not on some like trying to check me shit. You know what I'm saying? On some disrespectful shit. And because I'm not gonna bring that energy to her. But if I'm with you, if you my partner in this life, like I'm gonna value your perspective. So if you tell me some shit that may be in disagreement with what I have, I'm gonna listen to it.
But who's gonna have the last word?
Well, it's not. See, that's the thing.
Who gets the last word? You're the married one.
No.
You're the married one.
No.
Fuck the last word, man. Because it's not. It's never supposed to be an authoritarian thing.
It's not. Sometimes that's not authoritarian.
No. It is because if one person is supposed to get it, it depends on like that's what a partnership is.
Oh, let me rephrase the question then. Rephrase the question. If the whole thing is about if somebody has to make a decision, who makes the last? You value her counsel. Got that? Who has the final decision? Who makes the final decision? Because
we move forward. We move forward as a unit.
There we go. all right, Real, you lost me right there. Then let me tell you why you lost me. Because if there's two people that have a disagreement, one of them has to make that. Where we're going on vacation, we're going to Africa, or we're going to Japan.
I'm gonna take you to Stoney Island because I work at
Popeye. Or there's always a middle ground. Okay, you don't want to go to Africa, you don't want to go to Japan. All right, fuck it. What about Spain?
We go to Chinatown.
Wait a minute. Whoa. So, who makes? So
we agree.
Okay, all right, never mind.
We agree. Right, okay. Consensus. Okay. That's the goal. And
who decides to go on vacations in your household?
I don't plan it. She does. I let her. Whatever. What you want? Oh, she said she want to go to Hawaii for my anniversary. Let's go.
All right, baby. Fuck it.
All right, fuck. I don't. Yeah. That's what you want to do.
That's how most men are. Simple. Most.
You know what I mean? Like for example, just if there's I think there's a big misunderstanding or misconception when you hear lead and make the final. All those are trigger words. I asked you that for a reason because I wanted to see how you reacted.
Indeed.
You making the final decision does not mean you're an authoritarian. You just like you're the head of, if you're the head of the household, because me just saying that alone triggers somebody. You're just the head of the household. So
when you say you have a head of the household, that mean you have like basically you have the final decision on all matters. Like you have the veto power.
No, somebody. If let's just say hypothetically, let's just say let's just say my wife has it. If my wife has the final say so, let her have the final fucking say so. Somebody has to have the say so.
I feel like
somebody got to go.
I feel like in certain things, you know what I'm saying, like we're supposed to compliment each other, right? So there in certain instances, like where okay, I know you better at this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or you have more knowledge about this. Or over time it's proven that when this shit comes up, okay, you better than this than me. So if it comes to that, all right, I'm gonna let you have the last word on that. And there'll be some things where I'm gonna have the last word because I fucking know better. But we have to be able to. You have to be able to have somebody that you can work with, so you can have that type of dynamic.
Choose wisely.
Because if somebody always has to be the dominant person, you know what I'm saying? If somebody always has to have, like you say, have the final decision. Then I think that just makes a lot of arguments.
See right there. I hear
we get what you're saying. We got to wrap it up.
Okay,
we get what you're saying.
Okay. We'll talk about this later. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. But yeah, because that's a whole nother thing.
The whole topic is, hey fam, if a girl don't want to holler at you,
if she say
walk away.
Let's not hurt the women.
Let's not be thirsty out here. We've talked about this on this podcast plenty of times. You had guys out here putting air tags in girl purses and their cars, trying to figure out where they are.
Stop all that weak shit.
My homegirl, she gave like a 10-page situation on what women have to do to protect themselves every time they go out. A woman shouldn't have to have a list of things that she got to make sure that she's going to do to go outside to have a good time. You feel what I'm saying? There shouldn't be no rules of this shit. So bottom line is, all you clown ass niggas, because I don't give a fuck who you are, if you provoke violence on a young lady, no matter what shape or form, just think about it and just walk away, bro. Just walk away, because it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. You know what I'm saying? And go get some help and learn how to be and handle situations when they arise. And when you don't agree with something, you just say, okay, fine, whatever. I don't agree. All right, cool, and walk away.
That's right.
That's bottom line. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to. 2023, man, it's gonna be a great fucking year for everybody on this table and everybody out there.
That's right.
You feel what I'm saying? So let's just try to be, throughout this year, bring all this happiness and joy and positiveness.
Right. Unless you have too many people in the hotel room, then you're fucked.
Yeah. Don't throw no hotel parties at my shit, okay?
Let them know what hotel you work at.
I'm at the Hyatt in Hyde Park. Come holler at me.
Man, you hear that whistle, you better run.
Right.
You ain't never getting in.
You fuckers!
I'm mad you brought that shit back up.
I swear to God, I'm about to keep you fucked up somebody's New Year, man.
Hey, man.
I'm telling you, Joe.
You fucked up the for show pussy.
Hey,
definitely the lamest shit you've
I'm
ever
gonna tell you this.
Possibly.
I'm gonna tell you this. Those 4 dudes, they all smashed because they all left out in the morning.
They probably was gonna have an orgy, yo.
How do you know? You listened to him?
I'm just saying.
Was you there?
Hey, bro.
How'd you know?
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
I was there all night.
Hey,
Whoa.
Look at the
camera and shit.
No, not that way.
That didn't sound right.
Not that way. I was there.
Pause.
I was at work.
Hey.
And I had noise complaints.
Y'all fucking in there?
Right. The next room was having noise complaints.
Missionary only, no doggy style.
Did she pass down?
You gotta look in the eyes.
Wait,
you can only look in the eyes.
Stop! Don't say that. What he said? He said, "Did she pass out?"
She's gonna need mouth to booty resuscitation.
Oh my God.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in, man. I swear to God, hey man, tell the people where they can follow y'all so we get the fuck up out of here, man.
You always find me on IG, Star Photo Pics, and on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about. You understand me?
Weezy K's IG and Twitter. Yo, this nigga said
It's been a wild conversation, real.
RELL, the producer, 914 Media Group, both on Instagram.
Yes, man. Shout out to everybody. Thank y'all for bringing in the new year with us, 2023, Jordon Year. I am your boy, Classic 1979, other word, L Boogie. Make sure you follow us on all streaming platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Man, we out this biatch.
All right.
The Chicago. Niggas say South City. Don't stop, don't twist.